Let's take a look at some of our looping letters. So let's start with our E, our lowercase e. You're going to start on the bottom line. You're going to loop, you're going to slant up to the dotted line and just make a little loop. Slant to the dotted line, little loop. Slant to the dotted line, little loop. Some things with this one are we don't want huge ones like that. Kind of a thin loop. But we also don't want it so tiny that you can't see it. Kind of needs to be in the middle like these. Now our L is exactly the same, except it's going to go all the way up to the top line, and it needs to touch the top line and then come all the way down. And we want to cross down here below the dotted line. You don't want to be crossing up here, and you also don't want to be bringing it all the way down and crossing at the bottom. You need to cross kind of halfway in between the dotted line and the bottom line. Now our B is our lowercase b is going to start exactly the same way. It's going to start with an L. You're making an L, and then instead of just kind of coming out at the end, you're going to go back up to the dotted line, and you're going to make a little baby U. In other words, it's not going to go all the way to the bottom, just a little tiny baby U. And make that L, back up to the dotted line, little baby U. Now you don't want this to be super spread out. You don't want it to come over here to make your baby U. It wants to stay pretty close together. Just come straight right back up and then a little baby U. Now what can be tricky about B's is connecting them with other letters. And so you have to remember to get that baby U in there. So if I'm writing the word bat, I'm going to come up, I'm going to make my baby U. And instead of closing it all the way, I'm going to go right into my A. I'm going to make my over, back around. And then I'm going to make my T, coming down on the same line on my T and then crossing it. If I'm going to write the word bus, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make my baby U, and then instead of coming all the way back up, I'm going to start my U. Make my U, and then I'm going to come in with my S. Probably want to slant that S a little bit more. Make it lay over on its side a little bit more like that. There we go. So you always have to have that little baby U with the B.